You appall me, Piers. Occasionally I think, no, he's found the light, he's seen the light, he's no longer crashing on about Harry. And then this appalling diatribe we've just had to sit through. You claiming, you lying there, suggesting that you're putting their names out effectively to save the monarchy. You put their names out for clicks. You're no better than Omid Scobie. In fact, you're worse. You call him a little spittle. You're a great big gob of phlegm that's just landed on the royal doormat. I don't know how you slept last night. I struggled to sleep thinking about what you'd done. I really can't. And yes, I did. I did know that.
All right, stop the performative crap.
No,
honestly, it's performative crap.
No, let's just hold on to your
calm
words.
down, have a civilised conversation.
I'm not calm.
The idea you didn't sleep over this, you don't even know these people.
I was properly angry by your hypocrisy. And then
What's
you
the
sit
hypocrisy?
there, Piers, because you spend day in, day out, you're pro-monarchy, the wonderful Queen, wonderful Charles, and then you go and dob Kate and Charles right in it when one's at COP 28.
Oh, no,
yes, you did.
Wait a minute. Oh, no,
yes,
no.
You did.
No.
Oh, yes, you did.
I'll tell you who did that. Omid Scobie. Because these names appeared in a draft of his book, which was published in the Netherlands.
And they were
for
under
sale
the line.
To Netherlands
it was
people.
Tattle.
What's up, my family? Today, I want to address something that has been at the forefront of public conversation: the treatment of Meghan Markle and the disgraceful, harmful words of Piers Morgan in the aftermath of her interview with Oprah Winfrey. The backlash Meghan faced was not only cruel but dismissive of her lived experience, and it came from one of the most vocal and dangerous individuals, Piers Morgan. Let's be clear about one thing: racism is real, and it is impossible to ignore when it comes from powerful, entrenched systems that Meghan Markle courageously exposed. Her revelations about the concerns raised within the royal family about the color of her unborn child were not an attack but a statement of truth, and Piers Morgan chose to mock, belittle, and undermine it. His words weren't just ignorant, they were reckless and dangerous. Morgan's response to Meghan Markle's claims was nothing short of appalling. His refusal to even entertain the idea that racism could exist in the royal family was a slap in the face to every person of color who's ever experienced racism. By outright dismissing Meghan's testimony as a lie, Piers Morgan showed exactly where his loyalty lies: with the powerful, with the privileged, and not with the truth or the people who have suffered at the hands of this systemic racism. Let's break down exactly what Piers Morgan did. He arrogantly rejected Meghan's experience, attacking her for speaking out, while simultaneously using his platform to perpetuate an atmosphere of cruelty and denial. When Meghan Markle, a woman who had been hounded by the media, emotionally torn apart, and publicly vilified for simply existing, spoke up about the struggles she faced, Piers Morgan was one of the first to try and tear her down. He called her a liar. He dismissed her pain as attention-seeking. His dismissal of Meghan was not just an attack on her, it was an attack on every single person who has ever had to fight to be heard when they've faced injustice. Piers Morgan, with his arrogant, pompous attitude, took it upon himself to invalidate Meghan's truth, all because it didn't fit into the narrative he wanted to protect. He could not fathom that someone in Meghan's position could be a victim of systemic racism and unfair treatment. This is the danger of privilege, the refusal to acknowledge the realities faced by those who are not in positions of power. What Piers Morgan did was not just ignore Meghan Markle's experience, it was an attempt to silence it. His words were an attempt to erase the stories of countless others who have experienced similar prejudice and discrimination. By calling Meghan's experience a lie, he wasn't just attacking one woman, he was dismissing an entire conversation about race, about the ways in which people of color are treated differently, and the fact that those in power rarely have to face the same scrutiny or challenge.
Check one, check two, check.
Let's be real. Piers Morgan doesn't represent the voice of reason he so desperately claims to be. What he represents is the oppressive voice of denial, the voice that would rather perpetuate a narrative of all is well than admit that there are deep-rooted issues that need to be confronted. When he dismisses Meghan's truth, he's protecting the status quo, and that status quo is built on centuries of privilege, power, and a refusal to change. This is not just a personal vendetta against Meghan Markle. It's a manifestation of the larger, toxic culture that protects powerful institutions like the royal family from accountability. It's the same kind of mindset that allows racism to thrive unchecked. The same kind of thinking that says if we don't talk about it, maybe it will go away. But guess what? Ignoring the problem doesn't make it disappear.
Check, check. Check one, check two, check, check.
Piers Morgan's words were not just thoughtless, they were harmful. He chose to mock and dismiss someone's lived experience, someone who had been brave enough to speak out, all in an effort to maintain his own position of power. But in doing so, Piers Morgan didn't just harm Meghan, he harmed the integrity of the conversation we should be having about racism, about inequality, and about how we treat each other as human beings. And this isn't the first time Morgan has used his platform to belittle those who dare to speak out about injustice. Whether it's his misogynistic attacks on women or his racial insensitivity toward people of color, Piers Morgan has consistently shown that his need for attention and validation far outweighs any sense of moral responsibility or empathy for others. He claims to be a man of principles, but when faced with the truth, his principles crumble, leaving behind a trail of hurtful words and dangerous rhetoric. Now let's talk about why this matters, why it's so crucial we don't let Piers Morgan's words slide. His words are dangerous. They have consequences. When someone in his position of power dismisses issues like racism with such reckless abandon, it sends a message that it's okay to silence people who speak truth to power. It sends a message that those who are marginalized should stay quiet and just accept their treatment, rather than fight for change. That message is poison, and it keeps systemic racism alive and well. But there's a reason why Meghan Markle's story resonated with so many people. It's because her truth is shared by so many others. Meghan's bravery in speaking out has opened the door for countless others to share their own experiences, to confront the harsh realities they faced, and to stand up for what is right. And in the face of that, Piers Morgan's dismissive rhetoric can't silence us. We won't allow it. And here's where Tessa Dunlop comes in. Tessa was a beacon of reason and courage in this storm of toxic rhetoric. She didn't shy away from calling out Piers Morgan for his harmful dismissal of Meghan's truth. Tessa spoke with integrity. She understood that the problem wasn't just Meghan Markle or her experience, but the larger issue of institutional racism that Piers Morgan and others like him so blatantly ignore. Tessa didn't just defend Meghan, she called on all of us to confront the uncomfortable truths, to stop protecting the powerful, and to start listening to the voices that have been marginalized for far too long. Meghan Markle deserves our support, not our condemnation. Tessa Dunlop deserves our respect for standing up for truth in the face of such resistance. And Piers Morgan? He deserves to be called out for the toxic, divisive words he continues to spread. His words don't represent truth or reason. They represent a refusal to acknowledge the injustice that so many people are forced to endure every single day. So to Piers Morgan, your words are harmful. Your denial of racism is dangerous. And your failure to understand Meghan Markle's experience only exposes your own privilege and ignorance. We will not be silenced by your arrogant and dismissive rhetoric. Meghan Markle's truth is valid. Tessa Dunlop's defense is righteous, and the fight for justice continues. Don't let the noise drown out the truth.